privilege.
We are all you said you all are attorneys.
Exactly.
So, but the $40 million was for what though? What was that for?
That is the rest, the entire balance of the ARPA funds.
Oh. Is that what they're trying to put it in general?
They did it. They passed.
They haven't left yesterday.
After y'all were probably.
I see where it was going. I've seen where it was going.
They voted.
Already.
They are 5. It's the rivalry.
3. It was 5-3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I see y'all was saying that I sustained because this is other words. Whatever words y'all use, like it's a robbery. Y'all robbing.
Yes, they were basically, the CFO says, once it's in the general fund, you can do whatever you want with it. But when Candace Machette, 7th Ward, who vice president, walked out of the meeting on Monday, and they didn't take care of the vice president. She's the vice president. They got their 5 votes. And deranged Judy Priestley.
I thought she was the vice president.
No, she's finance chair.
Okay.
She's finance chair.
Okay.
So when they walked out of that meeting Monday, so all of that stuff wrote up, they put it on the special meeting, and they added Mays and Jerry on there. And so
what they did to Mays yesterday, that was just so disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's something terrible. So now that he was suspended for
90 days.
But y'all standing winning though, right? So that means y'all.
Sorry. Yeah. I was gonna ask about that.
I wonder how that's going. Will that be effective though?
I believe are filing an injunctive order today, because one, say he monetized from the shirts. First of all, you had a man don't even use email, but now all of a sudden he's a graphic artist designer.
That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Fli-City Blackout. It starts. We're gonna do this Fli-City Blackout live podcast on the podcast. Yeah. So I hit you up when I come out. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I seen the way that was going because it was 5-3, and it's like, ain't no sense you sitting here no more. So, Winners, Mickey, and myself, we all live about the same time.
So with them being in the situation that they're in, how we gonna, I guess, move from here? Because if they got the 5, like, is it a way that it could be somewhat of a united protest if y'all don't show up or something like that?
It's gonna take all of us to come together, and then we've got the May 7th election, and hopefully that May 7th election we can primary all of them and they gone. Then they don't have it. Yes. Okay. So we have got to start saying, like, whoever's running for that 7th ward, we can't have 15 people putting in. We got to get behind the person who can, because that ward is diverse like mine, who can deal with the white population and the Black population.
That's in that ward.
That's in that ward. And we got to get behind. I know they were talking about putting Mercedes Kenny back up in there because she deals with the Black and the white, and she's honest and she's fair. Just to finish out that term.
Who is that?
She does the cheesecakes, but she's at every meeting. She gets up and she speaks. She lives down the street from Mayor Weaver.
Oh, okay.
And Mayor Weaver's supporting her. She runs. I'm going to support her. And there's other people who are supporting her because she understands. I'm going to support her.
I'm trying to get it, bro. I don't want to come up.
So we got Fli-City Blackout.
It's not coming up on mine. I see all the other ones you did, but I ain't find this.
Did you go to Fli-City Blackout?
Yeah, Michigan. That's it. I'll try it.
Yeah, I thought that was just like a, and I had a talk with Green about the Metcalf man. Metcalf was doing too much, and what it is when you see the deal is calling for the weaponization of police and just getting folks out of there because they disagreeing. It's just like when folks is disagreeing on council.
Mm-hmm.
If the public, clapping, yeah, the ad lib they like to say, they have the privilege to do that.
Yeah, I don't like when you give someone like it's a totalitarian government,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Liddell Lewis is acting with absolute and final power.
Right.
And I have a problem with that because these are the residents.
Right.
You shouldn't be weaponizing the police,
Mm-hmm.
which were all white, with the exception, I believe, of maybe
Crazy.
one. Right. And the police kept coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I asked the officers in the back, who told you to, number one, to arrest Councilman Mays?
Right.
He stated the city attorney, Attorney Kim.
Mm.
Why is Attorney Kim telling them before his appeals are heard to arrest him? Attorney Kim told he was giving the officers orders. That should be under the direction of the police chief.
So if he texting for police to come arrest folks, he is out of order. That's unacceptable.
He shouldn't be doing that. I mean, the police have a chain of command. Oh, did you want to start the show? When we gonna start or do the?
Yeah.
And we got free talk.
Right.
Come on. Check it out.
Now, come on, brother, riding at times.
No, I ain't catch you. I ain't heard stuff. Just he be schooling. I'm old. I know. I'm dinosaur.
I learned my dad could text, and he was watching city council, and he was furious, and it was like a bunch of cuss words. And I said, when did you learn how to text?
Oh, he was
Right.
cussing.
So he was good.
Yes.
Yo, that-
My mom does not.
He cut up. He on that.
Listen, my daddy, he has a PhD in that.
If you go to your always go to your Facebook. I think it's on YouTube. It's both.
I was on YouTube. Yeah.
I'll show you, man. So yeah, so we just in here just kind of having some backflow conversation. So we live in the Fli-City studios. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to share with your friends, your networks. Just making sure that everybody's a part of these type of conversations because it's important, right? And we have a phenomenal guest here, man, that's representing on Flint City Council, representing the 6th Ward, right? We got Miss Tonya Burns in the house, right?
Queen.
Thank you for having me.
Come on now, come on.
You literally stood in the gap with me yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was something that, you when I got out of my council seat, and the officers did say that they were arrested. She's under arrest.
Right.
Corinza Harris. They were arresting her under the direction of Liddell Lewis.
Right.
And to see everyone come to that elevator and, in that gap was to my right, it was you.
Of course.
And then it was me. And then I think it was the officers. And I think Don Pfeiffer was behind me because I got to look up to him. Right.
And Dennis was out there too.
And then you had Mickey Gale. She was a lady. Rick was out there. You had Tia Harris. You had I can't remember because it was so much that was. You was out there too.
Brother Rodney.
Brother Rodney Thomas was out there. It was to have everyone say, you know what? We're not taking this no more.
Come on now.
We're not taking this no more. Y'all installed the $40 million. Department of Treasury, how you're taking the money of the CFO did. So not just in our discussion, the CFO said to just take the $40 million. We're going to put it in revenue loss, and then they can do whatever they want to do with the administration, Mayor Neely's administration.
Wow, that ain't cool.
No, it's
so
not.
The residents won't see nothing.
So, well, here's the thing: is Miss Claire McClinton? We have talked about giving, more to home repair. Where's it coming from? Now this at the discretion. They can do it. They don't have to follow the Department of Treasury guidelines. Once it's taken to, it's transferred over to the general fund. The guidelines gone. Flint got all that money because of the level of poverty that we have.
Come on now.
The level of poverty. And now they have rigged up, hooked up, and figured out how to steal the money.
Oh my God.
It is the heist. It is the ARPA heist.
And this stuff is going on right up under our noses, right? And that's some of what we want to kind of discuss when we're talking about the city of Flint. So when you talk about the ARPA dollars, when you got
94.7 million.
94.7 million that came into the city coffers, right?
Right.
To be able to use in a way that was within the guidelines for the city of Flint, right?
Right.
So when you look at today and where that money has been spent, you know, to be honest, you know, you see all these different agencies that have gotten a piece of that. But
Nonprofits is the
501.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even some of these are new nonprofits.
Probably just created.
And the ones that did not have a nonprofit that was either 3 to 5 years in existence, they use fiduciaries. For example, the president of Flint City Council, Liddell Lewis, has a nonprofit, Cyrus Park. She switched up and changed once I found out that she had her Cyrus Park. She put in an application, never disclosed it. Liddell Lewis never disclosed it, but she put in to get $50,000. $50,000 from the ARPA funds. So she's set to receive $50,000. The seventh ward that was appointed, Candace Mushat, works for Flint Development Center. They're set to get, I believe, $300,000, and then she has, I believe, a $50,000 bid in too.
For what? She has a nonprofit.
She has a nonprofit too.
I heard that.
So nonprofit is the new hustle.
Wow.
And this is being done in her face. So why are we getting censured? Mays, Jerry Winfrey Carter, and myself. I was censured. I was the first one to get censured when they said I needed a public rebuking. You can rebuke me all you want because I'm gonna keep talking. They're stealing the money.
Come on now.
They stealing. They some thieves.
Y'all was fooling that night. What I want to know too, man, about that, man. I was saying like, man, Quincy, do you got the lawnmower or not, man? What the heck?
That's a nice lawnmower. The little grass clippings is just chop it up and mulch it up.
Man, what the heck, man? Dog, he had stolen all around that conversation.
It was written on the owners.
Right. Yeah, for $11.
Got to be a hell of a zero turn.
Listen, and the gates expand.
I need my grass cut. I need my grass cut.
Oh, it expands.
It expands. Oh. That's why I'm looking at
Because some highways.
Listen, you can and look 1 or 2 swipes. He'd have my little lawn. So he ride high.
Man,
so the
was tripping, man.
here's the thing. And I have a copy of the check, and I can show it on the iPad.
Yeah.
But how I found out was when we were over at the county building, Mays disclosed that he had Ashley Capital had donated to his campaign for $1,000. And so I always, tell you read people, you look at people. So when we at the county and at the county building where our council chair was under renovation, I'm looking across, and so I'm looking at Liddell and Quincy, and it was just kind of like a pet.
Oh yeah.
But I said, man. They got some money.
They did not want to talk about their money. Like, it don't matter how many times y'all put it up there and say, listen, hey man, Mr. Murphy, do you have the lawnmower or not?
He got the lawnmower.
And say, ain't it funny that the way you feel shows on your face?
Right. So he definitely. What you do?
You were right from the game.
Well, that's good. So how I found out was I had an opportunity where I went for the hearing. We were talking about the PFAS, or the Brownsfield, where it was at Metropolitan Church, the Buick City site.
Yeah. And
so I went to that hearing. So some of the loudest people, the group of men that were there, that was sitting next to me, talk a lot. Yeah. So Susan and Mark Quimby with Ashley Capital.
Right.
And they were talking. I said, hey, Susan, I have a question. And so in front of me was Papa Papa Jared, Effie baby boy. You know,
Old Pop.
right. He was there. You know, Papa gonna say what he wants to say. He is not holding it in.
Probably the Rolling Stone.
For real.
Yeah.
And so then it was H.D. Dumas was there.
Yeah.
So, and then Arthur Woodson was there, and then Mr. Mike Davis was there. So when
forget that.
well, we gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah.
We gonna keep it. So I asked Susan and Mark.
Okay.
I said, and something just changed now. We're in the church.
Yeah.
And I said, Susan, I said, and Mark had a question.
Mm-hmm.
I said, did you get? Were there any other donations to any of the council members? Oh yeah, Tanya. Would you? Do you have something that you would like us to donate to? I said, oh no. She says, well, if you do know, we gave $1,500 to Liddell Lewis.
Oh my.
I said,
No, you did, right?
yes. And so I said, oh, okay. They said, and Mark, what is that? We got Quincy a lawnmower. It's about 10,000, 12,000. And did it come in? Yeah, the special order. It was ordered. He said, I think it just came in. And then we also, we helped him out with Christmas. So there was another, not just $11,000 lawnmower. There was another $4,750 that was given to Quincy to play Santa Claus, where he was given
how much?
$4,750.
Play Santa
Him
Claus?
directly, he got $4,000.
It's in the email that our city attorney has not given me the FOIA yet.
Yeah.
They dropped the gift cards off and the gift cards to toys. Ashley Capital did some shopping for Quincy so he could play Santa. Yeah, they sure did.
See, Quincy, you should be ashamed of yourself, man. And this is what we talk about holding accountability. And I think this is important for this is a family conversation. Like when it's something like that's taking place and, you get these backheel deals and whatever the case, you're getting lawnmowers and all that stuff, man. It should be a conflict of interest, right? As an elected official, if you got to vote on something where you're receiving a benefit from these folks, and you got to vote on them in the upcoming weeks and you support it, right? Then now you become complicit. Well,
and the charter tells you that you cannot take gifts.
Right.
The charter is very specific. So there's a charter violation. You can't do. Then it's a campaign finance violation. So here's what Ashley Capital said. You got to take my words for it. This is the breakdown of who they gave to. But then there's also the check. So the $4,750 is from Ashley Capital. So as I'm asking, and I'm going to take us back to the church. So they're telling me that they gave this money. And so I said, oh, okay. She says, well, and then there goes the checks. Oh, Mayor Neely got a check too. Let's not leave him out. He got some checks too. He had another $5,000 check from Ashley Capital.
I see Neely on that list too, man.
Neely's on that list. Gave us $72 million tax abatement. We asked Quincy, Councilman Pfeiffer asked Quincy to not vote on it and for Liddell on the tax abatement, and he would vote because basically it looks like a pay to play because they took money. Quincy got $11,000 lawnmower. Well, this should be illegal. It should be a campaign finance. Right. So this one was written on the owners. Richard A. Morton wrote a personal check for that lawnmower. Then it went to Habitat for Humanity. So then it turns around. Let me tell you what Quincy did. He voted to give Habitat for Humanity ARPA money. You can't do that. You took a lawnmower from Habitat for Humanity. They took a check from you, and you voted to approve to give them $2 million. I mean, you can't talk about this criminal. He should be in jail for that. So they should be in jail for taking that.
That's why they wasn't saying nothing about that.
Right.
See, but
and they got the checks.
She got the checks right there. See, that stuff gonna come out.
No, you got them.
No, because I talked about it. See, I'm not for sale.
Oh, so you put that out there last night.
I put it out there months ago. When I found out about it, I put it out. They need to watch on Talking with Tonya every Saturday, 10 a.m. Yes, I'm plugging my show. And it's on YouTube because I talk about factual stuff. I talk about it and I share it.
Is it everyday, Tonya?
No, I don't really have a lot of time. And I'm doing it because people need to have some a trusted source.
Right.
And so if I have it, I'm going to share with everybody. Because we know how hard they want to silence the wars, silence the people who are talking. They have 4 council people. They don't want us to talk. So 3 of us have gotten censure. So anyway, they're going to teach me. Our public group said I called somebody a wench. I didn't call you a wench. said, you called me a nasty woman. I did call her a nasty woman. Liddell Lewis was sharing text messages and email and Facebook posts when this person called my daughter a monkey. I mean, how deplorable, how unfit she is to serve in her capacity on the city council.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, so yeah, she is a nasty woman. She absolutely is. You know, when her next door neighbor called because she didn't had a food stamp, you know, she didn't have brokered a food stamp deal and didn't pay the woman the money. And then the woman called saying Liddell Lewis called the police on her. I got it on recording. I'll play it when we're done, let you hear it.
She bought food stamps?
Food stamp, didn't pay the woman the money. She went over. That's what the 54.
She went over us.
She went over.
You know, we playing about the
Wow.
Right. So she wants to talk about, you know, being ethical as if she is. She walked out on the Mitchell boys, the Pulaski fire.
Yeah.
When we all so she didn't have to vote for the investigation. Then lied and said she didn't walk out. The video showed different.
And I want to make sure I'll be clear when we talk about the Mitchell boys, we will be having some reprimands for the Mitchell boys. We are definitely working on a few things because as it relates to getting justice for those 2 young boys that died in the house fire, man, we're going to be fighting for that. We continually fight for that. It's going to be justice served. It's unfortunate that those 2 white firefighters got off the way that they did. We also supporting Chief Barton as well. I'm in conversation with him always and forever, right? We talking about strategy. They got some lawsuits coming down. They just moved forward. So both sides will be taken care of very soon. But that, you know, when you raise these issues in our community, and this is what I be having a problem. I have a problem with, you know, we got to stand firm for each other. But if we on city council, we talking about Liddell and Quincy, when y'all understand that, man, y'all are part of this Black culture. And right now, y'all not doing your best job in representing. And that's why people are frustrated. I got a problem when we got to have folks call the police on people that look like us to have them removed. Them people deserve to be there. They taxpaying citizens, right? They constituents, right? Some of them is in your wards. They live, work here in this city, so they have a right to be a voice. And when they see that foolishness that y'all be on city council, when y'all doing this stuff and y'all going against the culture, or y'all going against the community, and y'all got all these backhanded deals going on and it's not making sense for everybody, then yeah, they gonna call that stuff out. And I'm here for it. I respect that.
Right, and here's the thing, because this, and Lizzie, nobody's getting I'm not making $1 million on this, believe me. I mean, this is because I want something done right for our community.
Right.
So when we talk about, Liddell has weaponized the police on the poor. She's weaponized the police on the needy. She's weaponized Liddell Lewis has weaponized the police on her own constituents. She put out Miss Mayfield, who she quit taking calls, her ceiling fell in. She has a blue tarp on her house and she needed help. She came down there begging Liddell Lewis, the president of Flint City Council, for help. And what did she do? She put her out.
See?
She had the police escort her out. Liddell Lewis had the police escort out her own 2nd Ward resident.
Now Liddell, listen, you know,
who is now living in a shelter.
Wow.
Since then, Miss Mayfield is living in a shelter.
And she's an elderly woman.
She's an elderly lady.
Yeah.
She's on a walker. She has a disability.
And we putting those type of folks out, and we
called the police on her. Metcalf
too, man. Listen, you need to chill out. I don't know what you was on last night, man. You need to chill out.
Well, she threatened to get him fired too.
But that's the thing, though,
right,
man. Forget all that.
You know,
I did holler at Chief Green today about that too, man. So Metcalf, you need to sit down. And sometimes that stuff that's going on when people talking, people are representing people in the stands. You don't have to go out there and execute them to get out the building, kick them out, arrest them, because you're gonna have a bigger problem on your hands. And I don't care. I know Liddell had cited some law, whatever.
She be making up. She just be lying, making up. It don't even be applicable.
But yeah, but you know what I'm saying? That stuff that's lame. We can't be having that type of talk. We can't be having that type of, that type of spirit in the room. I know you're talking about spirit just today. We can't have that type of spirit in the room, and we going against people that's in this community that's tired. Folks are sick and tired for real.
Absolutely.
People been sick and tired.
Yeah.
Well, this is how Liddell makes up lies, because she's a liar. She made up a rule Monday. It didn't even come up in in the council rules it stated, yes, and Mr. Thomas, remember that you can't use your phone or answer your phone. There is no such rule. The Lewis, stop lying. She lies so much.
She said
She just like there's no rule. Well, I'm gonna state the city council rules that state that you can't.
Ain't was no rules.
And she told me a whole lot.
that's crazy.
Just lie. But there, we may be joking about it now,
Right.
because really I feel like I'm in a twilight zone.
Yeah.
I may be laughing now, but I cried last night.
Yeah.
I cried for my community
Yeah.
because this is something you can't even fathom.
Yeah.
When the police took her in that elevator, refused to let me ride down
Yeah,
with
that
her,
was
told me she was arrested,
Come on.
our code, right?
did not read her rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Liddell Lewis weaponized the white portion of the police against the black people, the poor people, the people who were in need, who wanted ARPA funds.
Mm-hmm.
And she glowed in her baskets like, I won. I won. She is the devil.
That's our bad.
She is Satan's spawn.
Mm.
You put out the poor, the needy, and then they vote to give the $40 million to the general fund. Where they do that at?
I heard
Well, they
you
can
say
do what they want to
that
do.
was going to have to turn out.
Absolutely.
You
So-
said you already knew how that was
So
gonna
I want to be clear. So they just gave the remaining balance of the ARPA dollars, and they moved it over to the general fund.
Correct.
So that how residents were talking about, we wanted to give like at least about 16 million to go
Yep.
towards renovation of properties. How did that even play a part now that it's in the general fund?
I don't see it. And let me tell you how they played it off is to say you're going to get 200. You're likely to get 250,000. So we gave 250,000 with some money that the CFO said he don't know anybody else that received this 250,000.
Right.
That was the CFO. Ain't got to take my word for it.
Mm.
He said we don't know of any other municipality, city, village, or township that received it. But we got to move this money. Y'all got to move that money because you're still people feel like.
The city attorney said that.
That was the
CFO, which is
Philip Moore, the
Okay.
chief financial officer. He said, so we would get approximately 250,000. And so the question was, what other community has benefited from this?
Mhm.
And he was just aloof. I don't know any. Yes, I don't know. Then why are we approving to get this done? Why would we approve to put everything to the general fund? Why would we do this?
Yeah,
When we got people who
You know it's not going to reach the rest.
right. When we got council people getting ARPA funds who sent up resolutions to be approved. Liddell Lewis and Candace Machat have resolutions that they are affiliated with. Liddell was the director and the president of Cyrus Park until I brought it up and she changed it.
Mhm.
When I exposed her, she changed it. And then you know what she said on Monday? Oh, me and Candace gonna get our money. Ha ha ha. Yeah.
Damn.
And gave a thumbs up
Before they left out.
before they left out.
See,
Don't take my word. It's on video.
That should seem like it should be conflict of interest.
Yeah, but the people have got to come and say, we're not taking this no more. You got
Right.
people who you can't be complacent and complain from the bleachers. You got to get out there on the court and start
Come on
playing in the game.
Yeah,
Come on
like
now.
in the game.
It's the serious
Gotta get on the
stuff.
court. Gotta
It's
get
too
on the
much need. And if you don't need a roof,
Yeah.
you know 2 or 3 other people who do.
court. Yeah.
If
Come on.
you
Come
don't
on.
need windows, you know 2 or 3 more
Yeah.
people who do.
Yeah.
If you don't need a furnace, you know 2 or 3
Come
more
on now.
people who do.
come on.
We haven't put one single roof shingle on one person's house, but they have sent up Candace and Liddell Lewis to get their resolutions approved.
You see, and I'm hoping that the city is seeing this, like everybody has to be involved on this, and we did have a wonderful display of folks come out yesterday. I know we always got Brother Roddy, Brother Thomas. is
He's
always
here
down
every
there.
meeting.
Yeah, he's down there
I try.
representing. And I was able to come down after we kind of wrapped up here at the office to get down there. But the thing is this though, we got to be there at the table. We got to be able to assist our local leaders and be able to support them. So when we see them up there fighting a good fight, it's gonna take everybody. And I was just talking about this to the young folks, even like the young people who may not be involved because they feel like, man, this is a waste. Like they don't even see a benefit to it. We got to meet the interests of them too. But then also we need y'all to step up. We need y'all to be astute to what's going on in the community. Even though you may not know everything that's taking place, right? You don't know where to get started. The first thing to do is just get involved. So we're gonna start having some real conversations, some town halls that we're gonna host with our young people, right? So that they understand these processes, they understand roles and responsibilities, they understand how this affect their life.
We have to start inviting them. If it's any young people or parents, if you want to have, like when my nieces come, I bring them to city council. And if you want your child to have the experience of city council, contact me.
For sure.
Your child can sit with me. And I mean, there's a lot of functions that I do because that is so important to show not only, children, we have to grow up to where it's the way we want them to go. Show them. And it's a different experience. I was in city council, a student council in elementary.
Come on now.
My mother brought me my certificate. She said, I still had this. I said, you still got this? She said, yes. So we got to show, them, there's a place. It's not for I will not be in this seat forever. And so it's my responsibility to prepare the seat for someone to take it.
Right. That's right.
Because when we don't want to be like Mitch McConnell. He don't know what's going on.
That's the continuity right there, though, Tonya. It's like, we should be preparing up and looking and making sure everybody is in line. But then you're educating people while you're in there, right? And you take it as far as you can take it.
That's right.
And then you have somebody else, a successor that come in and support it and move that mission forward. So we all play a part in this, whether we want to or not. And I like the whole thing about like a junior councilman.
Absolutely, because they can learn it. And people know now what point of order is, point of information, and they do. And people do. People didn't know this before. Right. People are learning things just by tuning in. And people say, "Oh, well, we're the laughing stock." People still learn subconsciously. Flint is not unique with what's going on. You look at Dalton, Illinois, what they call the super mayor, Tiffany Tahoe, something. What's she doing? It's not just you have to. You Google Tiffany Dalton, Illinois, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and she bought herself $150,000 Tahoe. They got all kinds of stuff about her, but and the residents are angry. So Flint is not unique. You look at the city council in Portsmouth, Virginia, where the lady said, "I'm mad as hell," when she spoke out. And we look at Detroit, where some of them went to prison for what they were doing, pay to play. They went to prison for pay to play.
No, they did.
They did. They did. And so we look at some of these municipalities. We got to start getting the young people involved. Because without the young people, and it may sound cliche that people, young people are our future. Yeah, they really are. They are.
They better know it.
Because it's things that we can't do. In our mind, we may think we can, but our physical agility is not there. It's not. Just like we were down in that tunnel when we were talking. They know they're going to take her down to the back. We were talking about the police. I can't walk as fast as Dewan. Right. And when she was like a whole, like.
No,
but it was everybody.
So we have to make sure we move. Right. But however, we all move as a unit.
We move as a unit. And that was the thing to let her know she had support. That where she went, she was not going without us.
Now she was really appreciative of how we just came together, because the thing is like, man, we out here fighting a good fight, right? And we got to know that people got each other back.
Right.
And so when you saw everybody at the elevator, and you see how scared those police look when they seen council members, they seen community members, they seen people all just standing there, right? Just representing activists, right? And they knew that they had to go ahead and they got accountability. They know that people watching, people gonna move on them.
And it has to grow.
It gotta get better.
It has to grow. Because I was not, when I got out of my seat, I needed to show, because I have a responsibility that if they gonna walk her out, I'm walking with her.
Come on,
if she's getting arrested, I got my people on call to get me out. And I got instructions telling you go in and act crazy so you get the Bam Bam suit.
Right. Look, brother Rodney, brother Rodney, they got the fair money ready. Wait till about none of that stuff. Listen,
that ain't even a thing.
It's really kind of, I could do that, right?
That's
90 days.
Look, y'all know to get me.
We're gonna start a riot in the jail now.
And we need to protest.
Right.
We need to have a protest.
Come on, now.
And we got to do it. And we got to show that whatever my differences are with you, it is not more important than the quality of life and the highway robbery that this administration and those 5 council members are doing.
Yeah.
It is not. And so
I'm so disappointed with them. Candace, what is Candace doing? Candace, what you doing? What you doing? Y'all just voting on this stuff. Y'all know y'all wrong. What? Y'all know that resolution coming up. Y'all gonna be on this ballot in May. Y'all trying to do everything you can.
No, she's not, because she got up and walked out. Now they broke form on Monday. No, not for this year. Let me tell you, we don't have one for the council president, Liddell Lewis, and the vice president of the council, Candace Mashat, did not adjourn the meeting on Monday. They walked out.
Okay.
They walked out. They walked out on the residents. They walked out on doing the business. Now, when it came to the part yesterday with the special meeting, this is a special meeting. We were supposed to be doing everything on Monday. They did not vote to put her on the ballot. So she's playing games. 7th Ward needs to understand. She playing games and they scheming to keep her on there without having an election. And she's a part of it. She's scheming to keep that seat. If you are do it the right way.
Come on.
And do it the right way. If you want to run for your seat.
We respect you.
Right, respect you. Right.
Do it right.
But she's not doing it right.
Yeah.
Now, unless they do something now to the end of the year, it's going to be a problem. It's going to have to be an injunctive order filed because Attorney Kim didn't tell the city clerk the right information. So I have a whole problem with him.
Corrupt Kim.
And I agree. And I'm going to tell you why.
Corrupt
he
Kim
was going off, man. Before
I saw the fiber boys. Shout out to the fiber boys out there getting to it. Yesterday.
I saw as soon as you came in, I saw Dennis get up to greet you.
Big shout out to Dennis.
Yeah, he did a bro hug.
Yeah.
I was like, who told you this?
He been hanging around the game.
Y'all boy. Eva had resigned after Monday night. I got it.
Eva, man. Oh, that's Eva real.
I thought she resigned.
Listen, man, Eva, you are the worst representation that I've seen in a long time. Probably since that last group that was here with Fields and all that. But when you look at Eva and the disrespect that she do, that white superiority nonsense that you think you under ain't gonna work for you, right? We gonna call you out. We gonna disrespect you every time.
Well, you wanted to fight me twice.
Well, we gonna fight. That you want to fight? What's up?
And then that's what I'm gonna try. And one of the things, so we
want to tell me.
So we can.
You want to go to the jungle on this one?
So people were saying, because and I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate because I was not offended. And people don't know that you and I do talk.
Right.
It is not, like we just you didn't call me up and like we hadn't talked to you. That's just not true.
Right.
Like I tell you, people who I talk to, my relationships with people, my loyalties, it's not anyone's business.
That's right.
It's just not.
Right.
And so when we have our conversations, they're like, well, where was the one when where was Black Lives Matter when Eva stood up? And you and I had already talked about it. And you had said, hey, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
And you have to recruit.
Let me even say, no, listen, they do ask like, where y'all been these last 4 months, right? I hear on these silly podcasts, the little podcasts, then of course I see folks just talking about where y'all been these last 4 months. Man, our whole response to that is, man, where y'all been these last 10 years? Like, what the hell? How you gonna ask somebody where they been? And these folks, we've been out here on a daily. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even these last couple of months, the months that, I might have been missing in action, I had some, personal things to do. I'm a human being too.
Right.
Let's
just leave it at that.
I'm tired of me sitting up here explaining. I ain't even got to explain that to you.
How do we move forward together? Because now you were there.
Right.
How do we say all of that stuff and all that stuff is in the past?
Yeah.
How do we move forward? Because yesterday was some new stuff.
Yes, right.
You had audience members getting arrested.
Yeah.
How do we shift and move together?
So the way that we can shift and move together, right? We can be strategic and we need a plan, right? First and foremost, we got to show up. I love the representation that showed up, but we got to do more. I mean, everybody got to show up. Everybody counts. Everybody got to be there. Everybody got to be represented. But then also too, you got to hold those folks in those seats accountable. So when Liddell or Candace or Quincy or Eva or what's the fifth one, Judy, if they not performing in these areas, then we got to get active in their ward. It means that we got to be able to do these recalls, right? We got to get folks out the way, right? And then we got to make sure that we get somebody who's going to be doing the work. So while we're doing recalls, we need to make sure that we train or we identify somebody who can come in and do the necessary work.
Now you lost members. Are you recruiting now?
You talking about Black Lives?
Mm-hmm.
So we going through a transition. You know, Brother Roberts was sick. You know, he battling with some help. You know, Brother Rodney, you know, he had some things he had to get together.
And I see Mr.
Nicole,
Thomas at the meeting.
Yeah, Nicole, she has some life things going on. Of course,
Are you
recruiting?
How do people join Black Lives Matter? And that's the thing,
yeah.
Because you need more membership, more people.
Yes.
We need numbers. And so
right.
I think there has to be a call out because you cannot do everything on your own.
Come on, now.
You know, you got to have, if we are a majority Black city, Black Lives Matter should have at least at a minimum 100 strong.
Right.
Because right now it's showing, you know, we need it. We had 100 people in there.
Right.
We don't have 100 people for Black Lives Matter. Right. But we need as many. How do we move and moving strategically? We have to assemble. Yeah. When we talk about, I tell people that Netflix movie, which I had never heard of, Byron Rushton, the Black guy who actually planned and it's on Netflix. He actually planned the March on Washington, which is the largest march that has ever been held. And they didn't like him because he was gay or whatever. And he worked with Dr. King. He was the key behind
you talking about that one on Netflix?
Yes, they got to watch Rustin.
Yeah.
It is the best because I never heard of him.
I never heard of him.
My mama
did
because
he was gay?
Because he was gay.
Yeah.
And they were going against him because of his sexuality ain't got nothing to do with what now we are reaping the benefits from. Equal housing, you know, the Civil Rights Act, Civil Rights Bill. So when we talk about that, people worry about the small stuff and they need to stop. While the big picture,
you're looking at.
Right, they're looking at the big picture. So you are recruiting. So you need to start sharing. How do you get people involved?
That's right.
Because how do you get people involved? Because I'm not a member of Black Lives Matter, and I obviously need to be a member too.
Come on.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna do
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, and I agree with you, and I'm glad that you raising that point, right? When you're talking about membership, because it all can't be done by one or two, a handful of people. It's just not gonna work. And when we were at our strongest back in 2020, we had about 30 people in Black Lives Matter, so we was able to stretch all around the state of Michigan. But the thing is, right now we in a transition. It's probably about like 6 of us, right? That's really kind of doing the work, and most of us kind of stretched in with what we're doing.
And so you work too.
We right. And we work. We got kids to take care of. It's like, what I mean? Just like everybody else. Folks just can't be out there all day going to protest. I can't be on live in my truck like Art every 30 minutes. Man, that's crazy. I'm too busy. I got stuff to do. I'm just
we are not going to talk about it. Okay.
I can't do that, man. I ain't got nothing better to do than talk about the nonsense all day. I ain't got time for it.
We're going to keep this to Black Lives Matter.
I got time for that, bro. I'm busy. I'm working. I'm in out of town. I'm big grinding, right? And then too, we trying to set up business too. So I got my hands full, but I'm still here.
So
to answer your question, right?
Okay, thank God you can pass this.
All right. I'm glad she put it out there. So this is the thing, right? We gonna need each other, right? Anybody who's willing to do the work, right? You don't matter what you're trying to do. You don't got to be in front end, protest and demonstrate all the time. We might need this back office work done, right? We talk about we write all these letters and send all this stuff out. We writing up these grants to be able to do some different work, right? To advocate on our behalf. We need help. Black Lives Matter is asking for your help and your support. If you want to become a member, all you got to do is come down here to the building, 2712 North 2nd Street. We are down here. We operating. We want you to get involved. We open you up over here. And then also,
that's right.
We want you to be engaged and then help us with some of this work, whether we at city council meetings, whether we at county commissioner meetings, whether we out there protesting for the Metro boards, whether we out there protesting City Hall and the Neely administration, right?
The water crisis,
which is still going on, right? Folks ain't being paid. So it's a lot of work to be done, right? So we pleading with you. Come on down, get connected with us. You can come to the office. You can connect with one of the members, myself, Brother Roberts, Brother Rodney Thomas, Sister Nicole, Sister Yolanda. So anytime that you have some time, right? We meet 11 o'clock tomorrow at the Golden Gate.
Okay.
That's right.
11 o'clock a.m. at the
I mean,
Golden
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah.
10 a.m. at the Golden Gate on
Yeah.
Flushing Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna be there. They got some
Okay.
good grits.
Yeah, they got grits.
10 a.m.
We gonna eat, but we gonna strategize and we gonna talk about the next steps, right? And then some of this work is pertaining to city council, right? So we want to be able to have those contingency plans in place, but then also we want to follow through on what we got on the table right now. And that's putting productive, competent leadership in place that's going to represent for constituents across this city. So those are the things that we'll be discussing. So we invite you to come out tomorrow, 10 a.m. at the Golden Gate, right? We give you just an hour of your time. Right? I know everybody is busy. And this is sometimes that I have to go ahead and be understanding too. I know folks is busy, right? But sometimes you got to make it your business to get involved. Sometimes you got to say like, hey, I ain't got nothing else to do so I can make it. No, you got to be like, no, I'm going to be there because I want to be there. Right? You want to see a change, be the change you seek to see.
Yeah.
You can't wait on somebody else. You can't wait on Black Lives Matter. You can't wait on Brother Rodney. You can't wait on Sister Time by herself. She can't do it by herself. It's going to take everybody to make this.
Like,
this
we want you.
Yeah,
right?
we want you.
You know what I'm saying? We got to have that though, right? So, you know, we calling you. And then we'll be having town halls too, because we are dealing with the water crisis. Just like when you came in, we was talking with the Black farmers. They're a collective all around the country. So they are interested in seeing how they can get lead mitigated foods here in the city of Flint, how we get alkaline water. We got some real stuff that we look to do with that. We want to make sure that folks is being paid out from the water crisis. They said it's supposed to be coming up the first quarter next year.
Okay.
But still, even beyond that, we need to be looking at quality education for our youth that's been impacted, right? It's learning disabilities running rampant around the city, right? We need to understand the root cause, but we need to have structures in place, right?
And that's going to take all of, because each of us, I think, can have a different skill set.
Right.
So I'm committing myself to actually to be there 10 o'clock because we got to grow. We cannot stay stagnant with the numbers. You just can't. And so when you say, you know what, I got to unbusy myself to make room for something, because if it was, we would go stand in line for a lotto ticket if the jackpot was 20 million, 30 million.
Was it Black Friday?
So this is something that's so important. Flint, about 20% of people vote in the city of Flint,
Right.
which is terrible.
Yeah.
And so
That ain't gonna get us nowhere.
it's not gonna get us. And we have every election that's going to be coming up. You know, we've got the Senate races coming up. We got the state reps. We're gonna have a presidential election that's gonna be coming up. You know, the Congress seat. We have got so many seats that are coming up, and what they bank on is us not showing up because we sit at home. We sit at home. If your roof is leaking, you need to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to start showing up. If you need a furnace. Because listen, somebody called and told me they got their roof done, their furnace done, because they affiliated with somebody, you know, so who you know, and it shouldn't be that way. But we got to speak in numbers, like you talked about your agenda.
Yeah.
You're going to be working on the Mitchell boys.
Yeah.
Supporting the farm. We don't have food. We don't have fresh foods.
Right.
We eat more packaged foods, which creates more garbage and helps us to have more disease, diabetes in our communities.
Or McDonald's.
Right.
That stuff is just not like all our youth is just getting bad food. We live in a microwave generation.
Absolutely.
That ain't gonna give you no true nutrients.
It's not. So, it's not. So we got to set aside our differences.
Yeah.
And no matter how bad them differences are, we got to start coming together. That put our egos down and lift our spirits up and let's get it done.
But you know what? In order to put aside our differences, this is what I be saying. Like, I can't respect unrespectable people. Right? I'm just gonna have to be honest. Yeah, I work with everybody. You know, I'll sit down with my adversaries, right? I done sat in the room with folks. At one time, we probably try to kill each other. But the thing is this, though. At the time, is like, if you're gonna put aside your differences and be respectful, you gotta really do that. You can't say you want to be unified, but then you doing all this backbiting, you know, tearing each other down, disrespecting. And sometimes even I fall into that because, you know what, I just be sick of stuff, Tonya. I'm sick of it. I'm just frustrated while we in this position, right? You try to be so unified, you try to be so positive, right? And people still tearing you down and want to claim to be, you know, for you, but all the time, you know, trying to backstab. I don't have time for that. So we're going to be real genuine about being unified.
Some people, and you and I had a talk about, we got into it. I'm like, well, would you be willing to, how do we solve the differences with some of the people? Which should be done before you ignite the movement. Because the movement, the movement has got to have a flame lit. And then before we do that, we gotta hash out the garbage. Yeah. Agree to say, you know what? Yeah. Nothing is more important than us really making a move. Because this is not just gonna help Flint. Yeah. This is gonna help Saginaw. Yeah. They got the same issues that we have. Homicide. We don't have food. We have gentrification. Right. So we need to talk about, it's not just our community. Right. And I'm gonna have you live with that Dalton, Illinois, Portsmouth, Virginia, where we have which one in Tennessee? Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee. It is no different when we talk about wherever there's pockets of Black people. The social issues, the issues are the same. They are the same. They're the same. So how do we do it? We got to set aside. Just let them say, if y'all didn't learn anything else from this dysfunction on this council, you have 5 people who stuck together. 5 people, whether they were right, wrong, illegal, or doing, they stuck together. They stuck together. We got to stick together. There is power in numbers. It is power in our voice. But if we cannot get together and get over our own self, ain't nobody no more important than anybody else. Like I tell people, you call me Tonya because we doing the work. It's the work. Come on now. So I respect that. We got to set aside whatever them issues are. It's not more, it's not bigger than the problem. No, and I agree with you, Diane. I agree with you. I'm a man that's always willing to sit down, right? Put the differences to the side. And I'm willing to even do that now, right? We gotta have real sit down conversations. And just like when me and you had a situation, had issues with each other, you know, we had to talk about it. The talk was bad at first, y'all. But it's like, it was like this. But look where we at, you know now. What I'm saying? And it was bad. Yeah. You know, and Demond, you had me pacing. And not too many people, I tell people, had me pacing and cussing. But we had to.
Mom, my boy, I say, Tonya, my girl, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I'd love to see when y'all come together. Right.
And we did. Juneteenth, was it 2 years?
And right, it was June. It was Juneteenth, and then too, you helped support it when you know about the check that Neely was trying to put on the Juneteenth group, right? They're trying to hit us with a price tag, hit us with a check. I mean, hit us with a fee that we had no responsibility to. So, and I know that Tonya was the finance chair, and so she was able to clear those things. That's what we talk about. That's the type of.
But see, people
that's how you resolve things, right? No, we got to put those things up so it's clear. Like they just don't see, like, they don't know how this came about, right?
And they don't. And the thing is, we stood yesterday side by side again.
They say understanding is the best thing in the world.
And that's right. We got to set aside. So there's some people, we got to get y'all in the room together.
Oh, I'm ready. We got to we're gonna lock the door. We're gonna lock the door. We're gonna come in together. Listen, real talk. You know what I'm saying? Answers all that.
I don't want no little passes. I need some passes.
But move all the furniture out the way. Hey, I'm saying it's gotta be that because folks is just sick and tired. And listen, I'm trying to say we need each other. Everybody is strong in their efforts, right? And I see some of the conversation on here too. I never seek to be hostile. Right, but the thing is, I can get hostile, right? And sometimes it's a frustration that caused the hostility, right? But no, let me be clear. That's not my intent to be that. So when we out here, it's a fire that's burning within us. It's because we want change. We want a difference, right? When people been out here their whole life trying to sit up here and see something different in the community that they love, they are passionate about this. So when folks who may come out and challenge them, it's not to be hostile, but I don't take no constructive criticism because I think that's how we grow. So I appreciate folks be like, hey, listen, okay, well, we need you, bro. Where you at, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I respect that. I appreciate that. Like, I see folks on there now. I appreciate, when folks say, like, hey, listen, we need you. You ain't got to come at me like, yeah, where you been these last 4 months? You ain't did nothing, all this other stuff. Don't come with that because you're going to get some hostility. But if you be like, hey, listen, all right, well, you know what, brother, we need you. Just like I got a number of calls about the situation we was down at council yesterday because they're like, yeah, you was there and we appreciate it. And I'm like, you know what? It's like I want to be there.
Mhm.
So it's encouragement. It's like, okay, well, you know what?
Mhm.
Let me make sure I put, whatever the time to the side to be able to say, like, all right, well, we got to make sure that we be in these council meetings. We got to be at the table. We got to be at the committee conversations.
Right.
We got to be there to help do the work, right? And maybe it's just a presence sometimes, right?
Well, and here's the thing:
Mhm.
people can help in different ways, but
Mhm.
people have to say, "How can I help?" And
Yeah.
when I talk to
That's
people, I've always said, "How can I help?"
I'm about to
Because
do that.
their vision and my vision to help is different. Because there are women who say, "Well, I can't do anything. I can't really get out. But if y'all meeting, I can bake you a couple pound cakes."
Come on.
I mean, there's different help. There's people
Mhm.
saying, "I cannot, I cannot leave, but I can call people for you."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or I can make copies for you.
Come
So
on,
it's a different skill set. You got
That's
people
right.
say, "I can protest for you," and any
Right.
protest, kids are welcome. I used to
Yeah.
pay my kids after a protest for Starlight Dinner. I did.
No,
Starlight Diner. I would take kids
No,
to
you're
the
right.
apple the wine prices.
Come
I
on
was
now.
paying them
Yeah.
with the little special.
Come on.
Because
And that's what they motivated by.
and
Yeah.
my kids still protest to
Yeah.
my daughter,
Mhm.
who they say she is a feminist.
Yeah.
But her and her husband, they protest
Come on.
because they were raised that way.
Come on. Yeah.
They were
Stand
raised
up.
to know that you don't let nobody run you over.
Mhm.
Right.
But we got to say, how can I help? Set our problems aside. So you're gonna commit to, if we get this together for the people in the room,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna make some calls when I leave, that you
Yeah.
gonna get in the room and I do construct.
Oh, yeah.
Let me say, some people can't, and maybe, and I'm reading some of the comments, people saying you shouldn't take it personal. I get you take it personal, but you've done more good than when you took 4 months off. So you got to take what it is and take from this day forward.
Come on.
I take constructive criticism. I take it from my niece. My little niece called me the other night. I don't know why the little child was up at 1:00 in the morning. Tell us, man, Tonya, what you doing? I'm like, "Little girl, why you not asleep?"
Right.
She said, "Because I was watching the council meeting."
At 4 in the
She's
morning.
10. She had watched the council meeting. And she's telling me what she see, because from a child's eye, her view of what's going on is different. And so if she lives in North Carolina, and she says the people in North Carolina watch stuff. She says she was taught, she said they didn't believe that you were my auntie.
Mhm.
Because I take my nieces everywhere I go. I'm a very real one-on-one.
Mhm.
I don't have grandkids, so I got to be my nieces.
Okay.
My kids, they like kids cost too much.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but,
like that.
but I take advice from a 10-year-old
Come on.
because she
Yeah.
sees
That's
her,
right.
what she sees and critiques is different. Because you know what? She's looking up and saying, "You know what? I
Right.
want to be like Michelle Obama.
Come
on.
I want to be like
Come on.
Dr. Maya Angelou.
Mhm.
I want to be a great speech and order like Dr. Martin Luther King.
Mhm.
I want to have the fight in me that was not going to back down like Malcolm X."
Come on. Now.
So when we
Come
talk about these things, we have to learn to set aside. First of all, we need to quit attacking each other.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
need to quit attacking each other unless we're doing something to be attacked.
Mm.
So if you attacking me, I'm stealing money, I deserve to be attacked.
Yeah.
So if you attacking me for putting out residents and they coming here to city council chambers,
Yeah.
Tanya Burns is throwing out people, Tanya Burns is making up rules and
Right.
lying, I deserve to be attacked.
Mm.
And then if they lying on each other, I got a problem with folks lying. How you gonna be doing all this research and you lying on folks? I got a problem with that.
Mm.
Like, you can't be just lying on
So
folks.
y'all gonna be in that room and I ain't gonna be in that room.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah,
gonna be in there
yeah,
because
yeah.
this is some
And
people.
I don't like that stuff. I don't like
But y'all
I
gotta
don't
talk
like
it
that.
out. And see, y'all gotta get in that room and you got to first, before y'all start, you gotta pray. Before I even drive my car, I pray. I'll be asking God to put a pathway of mine in any vehicle and every instrument of my vehicle. Cover me with the blood of Jesus. Yes. And then I thought if I'm on the highway headed out, I throw on my bumping music.
Come on.
I put on my daddy seat. That's my girl. I throw that on,
Yeah.
and then that's my set it off
So you're
song.
praying?
Right. And then if it's my song where I'm a little frustrated, it's Big Sean.
Ah.
I don't give up. That's Councilwoman Ricardo's song to me and her. So I think that I have my praise days. I throw on my,
Come on now.
I throw on my Kirk Franklin, reason why I smile.
Yeah.
And then Yolanda Adams in the midst of it all.
Mhm.
And before I come to council, woo, Fred Hammond, No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
I know
And I just loop it and loop it and loop it and loop it. So, you know,
that spirit,
because you have some demons up in there.
Now,
You fighting against
hormone.
demons and principalities, so much stuff up in there.
putting the whole armor of the Lord on.
Listen, and I carry holy oil in my purse. Don't play.
Man, yeah.
Don't play.
Look,
Let
but no,
me send your skin. We know. That's like that.
I was just playing that Tupac, hit him up, right? You know what I'm
Six.
saying? So I'm just saying, sometimes, right, you know what I mean? You're right, you got to be in the mindset, but I totally agree with you about being in the room and have real conversation, constructive conversations. That's important, right? We all ain't gonna see eye to eye all the time, right? Sometimes we have differences, and that's human nature. But we got to know how to set aside egos and be able to look to say, oh, I agree to disagree sometimes, right? I may not agree with what you got going on, but that's cool, right? You know, I'm not gonna tear you down and go against you. That's your perspective.
Right.
And as human beings, we all have to understand we got to respect each other's perspective, right? And then also, too, we got to be speaking the same language. You know why we not organized in this community? It's because we so fragmented.
We are fragmented.
Everybody wants to do this. You got this little circle doing this, and working on this group working on this, right? Nobody is communicating with each other. So you don't know what each other is working on. And you don't know how you can, actually impact what each other is doing.
Absolutely.
See, we have to be like, okay, listen, we got to speak the same language. And we got to be all on one accord. Right? I don't care if it's the activists, the brothers in the streets, our folks that's elected. It's, our elders, our youth, everybody got to be talking the same language. Everybody got to be on one accord.
Even the gay folks.
Everybody, listen, we got to be thinking about how we move in this city as one. So we can be like, all right, well, I know to respect everybody's organizations. Everybody got something going on.
Right.
But what we have to do is, like, as a unified collective,
right.
These are some of the goals and objectives that we want to do.
Right.
1, 2, 3. Let's keep it simple. Everybody work on that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go back to your network, to your pocket of people or whoever you're working with, and you work on those things. And then you know that, okay, well, I know I got a partner over here. I know that I can reach out to Councilwoman Burns. Hey, we working on these initiatives right now. Like, how you think you should go ahead and present this? Right? Those type of things. You gotta have people in place. Everybody gotta be talking and communicating with each other. So,
but they gotta know what their purpose is too. They gotta know that if I call you, I'm calling you because I need your help. Or if you calling me, I have to commit to saying, like with the permits, that was crazy. But I have responsibility to help you.
Right.
It ain't got, and I don't dislike nobody. I hate take too much energy. No, I don't have that kind of time.
It takes too much energy and put that type of negative vibe out there. They're being positive, right?
And supporting each other's organizations. Yeah. Because if we show up for each other, right now we should all be showing up for Flint. We should be showing up for Flint because right now that $40 million it's been a great heist. It has been a great heist. And the 7th Ward is being heisted by not allowing Candace Machat to be in an election because she is the vice president. Got up and she should be censured for that. And so should Liddell. You the vice president and did call your own meeting to order. Did not call it to order. Right. And so that's a problem. So we got to look at who they have in place. So we talk about the protests. Yes, the Mitchell boys, that we should be protesting for that and supporting that and speaking out about that. We definitely will. And we need to be speaking out about the water crisis. That's right. We need to be speaking about the $40 million to make sure that we got to fight in and raise some hell. Now we know how to contact and get the press out. Each person has a different gift that God has given us that we have to utilize that to come together. Come on now. And that's that makes a movement. We have to have a movement. And y'all, you're going to have to get in the room because you're a part of the movement. Yes, ma'am. You don't like Arthur Woodson. Y'all have to get in that room. Y'all like I know, but you want to get in that room. Y'all I'll be in the room. He can stand out the door. We're going to have It's about Flint. Listen, I don't like you, Art. It's about Flint. Listen, I'm willing to sit at the table with your bucket head self because it's about Flint, right? You know what? I could care less about you, right? And I don't respect that stuff that you're talking about. But when it comes down to the city of Flint, I'm with love Flint more than you hate your disagreement. Oh, for sure, for sure. That's what because imagine how powerful this movement is. We can get it together here in Flint. We can take this to where Jackson, Mississippi,
we can be
Come on, now.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Come on, now.
We can help and have Saginaw
we can
come
be the
help
pilot.
us.
Yeah.
Right. This can
Yeah.
go to every pocket where
Yeah.
Black people don't have clean water, good
Come on.
jobs, where our
can show lives,
schools are terrible,
Yeah.
where they aren't being educated and reading at less than a third grade level.
Mhm.
So we can take this and use it as like a cookie cut, as a pilot,
Yeah.
and take this and let this grow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Put our egos aside.
Yeah.
Love
Nah,
Flint more than we hate and despise each other for past practices of what we may have done. And that's including myself. I'm not
You
exempt.
know what I'm saying?
Now, and just to be clear, because I know that folks like, yeah, how y'all got into it? We got into it because there was 2 Black young girls that were disrespected by a white boy who called them nigga bitches, right? You know, who don't stand for none of that, right? So you know what? The NOI, they called us up. They said, hey, listen, man, this white boy that just disrespect these sisters. You know what? We ran up on him. He was scared, right? We came over there and said, like, listen, man, we shut this building down, shut this business down. You won't have nothing going on, right? You won't even operate in here. So he wanted to provide some type of recourse for her. He wanted to give her a contribution. So he made out a check for $500 to, he made it out to me because I was on the front line, dealing with him. But he made it out to me, but that money was never for me. It wasn't about giving me nothing. It's nothing about that. I will come out here and stand out here. We do this work pro bono. We do this for free. It ain't even about being paid for none of this stuff. It's because we want to make sure that folks is right. We want to make sure our people is respected. We want to make sure that ain't nobody doing no wrong. We tired of systemic structural racism. We ain't standing for none of that. We would die for that, right? We would die to put an end to all that, and that's when everything. So he wrote a check out for $500 for him, and so
I questioned it.
She questioned it,
and that's
she would have did right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, she want to make sure everybody's in compliance and everybody on point. What I didn't appreciate when April sent that check to the sheriff department because the folks contacted me. Like I was extorting this boy, and so I didn't like that.
No, I
didn't respect none of that type of stuff. I do not respect that because I would never do none of that stuff.
Because Chief Johnson had called me, and you and I and him had a conversation.
That's right.
And I don't want to get too deep into this, Dwayne. I'm gonna tell you why. That was 3-4 years ago. We're not there.
Right.
That has nothing to do with what we did today. And if it took for us to go through that to show that we are at a new place today,
that's right.
Because people deserve a second chance. God's grace is something amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we talk about moving forward.
Yeah.
What happened in the past.
Yeah.
That's just like to say each person who has, if you are incarcerated, that you were given a second chance. Everyone's allowed to give a second chance. I question stuff, and when Dewan it was a heated conversation.
That's right.
He had me pacing.
Yeah.
And I can cuss.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad, but I can pray too. Okay, my mom was praying side, my dad is cussing side, and it was not good. It was not good. But Chief Johnson, but I don't want us to get too deep into that because we worked on that. We did the work,
right? And
we at a different place and at a different time, and I will not allow those bricks to weigh down what we're talking about doing in the future.
That's right.
We are the new thing. So if you want to join Black Lives Matter,
come on,
call us up.
Come on now. We need.
If you got a child want to spend a day at City Council, call me up. My number is 810. I'm put it in the chat.
Okay. We move forward, not backwards.
Right. Listen, we can't listen. I will never be a size 6 again or 4. Okay. No. I won't be 21 again.
You never know about the size.
Look, I don't even want to be that size. Then I was trying to gain weight. Okay. Right. Then I was trying to gain.
Just like the young people want to be old.
Right.
You get older, you be like, man, I
That's right.
They do be like that.
So, for that, so we are moving. This is a forward movement. If you want to move forward, move Flint forward together. You have an organization, you have a skill set. You can bake a cake, if you can make a call, if you can create flyers, if you want to protest, whatever it is you want to do, put y'all got Black Lives Matter number up there. Contact me. My number is 810-471-7849.
That's right.
And again, so somebody can put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. 810-471-7849. Contact me tomorrow. You got breakfast that's going to be at the Golden Gate tomorrow at 10 o'clock on Flushing Road.
Mhm.
And so we need people to show up. You know, we have to do this. We can't say they spent all that ARPA money and then we don't show up to fight against it. Because you know what Liddell Lewis said? We gonna get our money, and gave it. We gonna get our money, and did a thumbs up. She gonna get our bag. She got her 5, but you know what it's gonna take? It's gonna take all of us.
Yeah, I do want to indulge in that because you know we in an unforeseen situation right now at City Council, right? You know, of course, if you don't know, Eric has been suspended for 90 days.
Yeah.
And you know, big shout out to Eric, man. You know, definitely I topped in with him. But the thing is, man, keep your head up, stay strong. I know he's gonna be doing some things on the sidelines and continue to make his voice heard. But that's unfortunate to see a brother like that, you know, being kicked out of council because he raised a lot of questions, right? A lot of times, you know, folks don't like his delivery, don't like his tactics, right? You might not necessarily understand where he's coming from sometimes, but when he's out there doing point of orders and you know and putting these things on the floor, he's educating them, right? He's 10-year veteran on this city council. And then too, man, you know, I grew up with Eric, right? I grew up, you know, we used to campaign for Uncle Monty and, you know, Ed Taylor. And me and Uncle ain't even on the same page because I know he's with Sheldon Neely, right? And I just like Sheldon Neely. So when we talk about this, sometimes you just got an issue with folks. It may be best for you not to be there.
That was a whole look, your whole body.
He just took all the.
I'm just so disturbed with that guy, and it's just like, you know, it's just very unfortunate that you know this person is in the seat of the city right now, and I'm so dissatisfied. I'm so upset with Unc for even being, you know, in that administration. But you know, I'm like, man, listen, man, you know what? We got to continue to keep working. We're gonna keep doing the work, regardless of who's there. But it's frustrating to have these situations take place. So. And I hate that Eric and Ed is not seeing eye to eye right now because
that battle is it's very troublesome because they both have powerful voices.
Yeah,
and it is not. They're not in the same direction. And I'm gonna say this. I do see a point. You know, Mays needs support, but I see issues on both. I can see where Ed is saying some things, and I don't talk to Ed Taylor.
Yeah,
I don't dislike Ed Taylor. I don't know Ed Taylor.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't speak to each other.
Okay,
and I don't know why. But I mean, that's just a.
I had talked to him yesterday about a bunch of stuff that was going on yesterday. I was so just disturbed, and I know that you know he looks at it from his perspective, and then you know I look at it from my perspective. But I be saying like, man, that type of stuff right there, man. You know, if you in that table, if I'm around folks that's doing something that's not beneficial for the city,
right?
I gotta pull them to the side. I be like, listen, man, we can't be sitting up here doing this type of stuff because folks looking at me like this, right? It's not going to work. And if I got your ear, then I need to make sure that I tell you, you know, what's beneficial for all of us.
You have to listen.
You got to listen. And
you
got to stand on you got to stand on ground. That's what I be saying. Like, you can't just be letting stuff fly and just be going along with the flow, right? Because you're getting paid and all, whatever the case may be, right? You know what I'm saying? Is whatever.
People wouldn't believe that those two were so close before.
Who?
Mays and Ed.
They were super close together.
They worked together on the campaign.
We used to be in the back of the van passing out literature for Uncle Monty in the Second War. We was doing that as a kid. Saying Eric used to be in the front seat, Uncle was driving, a bunch of kids in the van, right? And they were super close. Over the years, whatever the case may be, they fell out, right? But now Eric is in position at City Council. And I think, Uncle, you got to support that brother. It's like you got to say, like, hey, listen, you know what? He supported you when you was on the ground, when he was in the position. Eric was on the ground doing the work. I saw him doing that.
Yeah, but
now the role is different.
Sheldon Neely. So
that's what I mean, though. But you can't just be faking and shaking. You got to be like, all right, listen, you know, bro, I'm working with you.
Sheldon don't have anybody who works for mayor. That's I'm gonna respect all before he was even mayor. I knew him though.
Yeah,
but. You do as he says. He doesn't have anybody around him that doesn't. They tell him what he wants to hear, not what he needs to hear. That's why we have a problem with so many departments that are understaffed because people don't want to work for Mayor Sheldon Neely, and people who are leaving are running up out of here, and they have been for years since he's been the mayor.
Yeah, you right. But I just wish that there was two brothers that need to get in the room. Ed and Eric, y'all need to get in the room. We need to set that one up too. After being
You
honest,
better get
Oh,
on some
yeah.
Xanax first, though. Because that one, and
No,
both of them have very loud
they both
voices.
Yeah,
You know, Ooh,
they definitely, but not. But at one point in time, they were super cool,
right.
and I think you know what, it may be
But you
some
can be that common
miscommunication.
denominator, though.
It must be some miscommunication or whatever the case may be, right? But
I don't
that
think
man
that as
needs a
long as
support.
Ed works for, he
Yeah,
works
you
for
don't think
Chuck.
it's gonna be?
No, because Ed has a
Okay.
responsibility to carry out what the mayor wants. He is appointed, so he works for the administration.
Right.
So I don't know how you do that. And they say Ed, has the temper. He stand up. There's something things that Ed has said. Like I said, I have never taught. Me and Ed have never really just had a conversation.
Mhm.
So I don't dislike him or
Yeah.
I don't have. I'm neutral.
Right.
But like they said, he had made one thing. He said, "Hey, if people with these vehicles and all this other stuff, hey, tow them." And I agree with that. Why are we gonna keep doing certain stuff? So certain stuff where he is a straight shooter. But I think that when we talk about him and Mays, that respect is disrespectful. When Ed Taylor came up in there acting a fool up in there, threatening people, and he called the police,
And he
yelling and screaming, "Yeah, don't get out of here!" Don't do that.
I'll give you wrong for that.
He was wrong. He's a black man, right?
But I tell
Who was last night, though?
I- Two seniors. One was white, who was so scared. She got up and left. They were scared.
Yeah, because I seen them. I seen them, and do be getting live. What I'm saying is, on things like that man, like always be on side for the community. That's all.
You don't lose when you're with the resident.
You never lose when you're with the residents, no matter who you working for. Because ultimately, this administration is supposed to be working for the people.
Well,
But it stems from Sheldon, though. Sheldon is the denominator in this situation. He's the one. If you were the CEO of the city, the mayor of the city, it's your responsibility to bring folks together, and you should be doing things that's going to be a benefit for constituents.
Well,
And if you see all these commotions going on right now, and you got these
he's got his hand in it. I mean,
I know,
he is the author. Well, he calls us insurrectionists and obstructionists. I'm like, he is the whole author of all kinds of chaos and confusion. I mean, he is like the king. He got a crown for confusion. I mean, he has been. He tell people he was ordained to do this job. To what? Divide your city?
Is that why you be wearing that Jesus piece on?
I said, don't trust man that wears Jesus hat now. I don't trust him. We got too many crosses trying to tell you about his religion and how holy he is. We should be able to see your works in it without you telling us, you advertising.
You're right. He always open it up.
I mean, he got no crosses on. I'm like, what did you is
Dear Heavenly Father.
holy one?
Why you playing like this, man? Why you playing with the good Father's name like this, bro? If you doing holy work, man, people gonna see it. You ain't gotta call Mother Mary and all them. You
where Jesus at?
You know what I'm saying? That Jesus at.
I'm trying to tell what that Jesus had just lied. That morning program. I'm like, the Jesus had about 15 crosses and you lying on the gospel station.
So, man,
From the room.
Right.
You need to take that back to the marathon you got there from. You were tripping. I can't believe, bro. You can't use that type of stuff on folks, man. People don't want to hear it, man. Listen, we've been bamboozled up, right? It's already we got these sad pastors up here, right? Not all the pastors are sad.
Nah, there's some good
I do rock with some of the pastors. Big shout out to the pastors that be out here bigfooting, big holding it down, right? We ain't talking about the ones that's faking and shaking, right? So I'm just saying, but we cannot play with people. And that's what it comes down to, man. Folks is just tired of being played with, lied to, and misused. We're not gonna do that.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying, if you're in leadership in the city, you have to exemplify leadership. You have to be it. You can't talk about it. You can't say how much of a leader I am. People will see it in your leadership. They will see it in the activity involved in the moves you make. So let's be about that. In 2024, let's stop being about this nonsense. Let's stop sitting up here thinking.
So you committed to get into that room.
Oh, I'm definitely committed.
Thank you for that.
I'm committed.
Thank you.
I will go to the room right now. It's
Nah,
that.
we gotta get
that
some
level
folks
of
up in there.
commitment. Yeah, we gonna get the folks that need to be in there, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna hash stuff out like real people supposed to, right?
Because we all love Flint. So we gonna have for 2024 we were talking about. We gotta have some protests. So organize and see. Here's one of the problems with Flint. Everybody want to be the chief.
Choose that part right there, Ty.
We need
the chief.
We need some little Native Americans.
Yeah.
We need some helpers. We can't just have our chiefs, y'all. Don't come and just think you gonna be the chief. We got to have some helpers, okay?
Right.
We don't need all chiefs your way and up talking people and over talking. But I'll be looking at some of the people. I'm like, how you gonna be the little Native American? How you gonna be the helper?
You're not, right?
So we want people, and if it's you baking cakes, answering phone calls.
Yeah.
If it's you saying I can open up the building for recruiting, I can do free secretarial work. I don't care if you alive, you're willing, you of age. We need their help. We need people help.
We do.
So there is a place for everybody. This is a movement.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movement.
No, we calling everybody to the table. We calling everybody to show up. We calling for us to really be about something in this year coming up. It's 2024 coming up. Let's be about something versus all the talking. Let's be known other than the water crisis and bad publicity on our administrations and council folks, right? Let's be something different, right? Let's give this next generation that's coming up behind us, right? We just talked about a lot of them. Let's give them something to be proud of. My daughter be looking at this stuff.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter 13 now.
Oh,
that's 15.
That's an age.
Yeah, so I gotta talk to her and tell her about, hey, listen, we be expecting y'all to be coming up. She like, in this? Like, well, you know what? Yeah, but you should learn from what's going on right now, and then you should apply yourself. Right? It's gonna be mistakes made, but you learn from it. And we got the responsibility of having a foundation for them. Mm-hmm. If we ain't setting nothing in place for them, if we ain't opening no doors for them to walk through, for them to be in position, for them to take the mantle during their generation and hold it down for their peers, we did something wrong. We ain't doing nothing. We negating folks who actually depend on us, and we not doing what I guess our role and responsibility for the city is. So we definitely calling that out. And so next year I'm committed to sit in the rooms. I'm committed to be present. Anytime it might be some self-care, some time going on, right? We should be expecting that from people, just like you. Make sure you do self-care. I know you meditate, you pray. Make sure you get your nails done. You look good. You gotta be able to do that stuff, right?
My best friend, she's like, well, I want to get my nails done. Mm-hmm. Stephanie getting her nails done. One of my I'm blessed to have some great women around.
That's right.
And who have been my friends for forever, who show up for me. When y'all be seeing Michelle Young up there talking about she giving us assignments, not be nice to her. We've been besties since we was 4. Yeah. We literally lived one house in between us. We got whoopings together. Yeah. Literally got whoopings together.
For sure.
And Michelle works for GM. She runs the stamping plant. Michelle's a hard-working Black woman. She's in the 6th ward. She comes and she stands in the gap for me.
Come on, man.
Michelle Young does.
Shout out to Michelle.
Stephanie Rogers, she shows up. We've been friends since high school. My best friend since 2nd grade. Wendy, sometimes she can't do certain things. So she's like, what can I do? She'll send like a care box. Yeah. And my friends be like, look, you need to take some time for yourself. When you have good women, good men and women and people around you, not just your family, right? It helps you because they tell me like it's real. Now Stephanie called me today, telling me, don't you stand up for Judy no more.
Yeah, you did kind of stand up for Judy. I was wondering, I was trying to see what Judy was going to say.
Judy won't stand up for Judy.
But Judy got a gun.
Judy,
put that gun out. Who are you, Judy? Pull that rusty 45 out right. Dude, listen. East side. I know what's going on. I used to run on the east side. I didn't know it was on the east side. Listen, Judy, stop letting them bully you like that. Don't let Eva do you like that, girl.
Look at my shirt on Monday like she was a child.
Tell Liddell you ain't standing for that nonsense, Judy.
That's right.
Be real. You a real east side. You
should know what time it is. Like if you gonna step up, big step in, right? Stop playing. Don't let them. I saw her up there. She was scared to say. Councilwoman Tonya did take up for her. She was definitely on there.
Say she's being bullied.
I've seen that Modest Quincy before.
Yeah.
I mean, look how she talked. I'm like, oh, she don't know. I mean, she talks
She
to
said,
people crazy.
They said, "You need to grow some balls."
My God, shit.
Judy, if you don't got a pair of drawers on you,
Judy got to stand up for herself.
yeah, you got.
She has got to. So self-care is important, and people do get drained.
Right.
And people need to understand that although my council job is technically part-time, people call me 7 days a week and do not care. I get 7, and these ain't people from my ward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it is my commitment. But when I'm tired, and so that God have a way of saying, you know what? Like I was sick for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't leave the house for I think 10, 12 days. I didn't cut the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to take all that noise.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
shut down.
I shut down. And there were days where I just I didn't have anything. I didn't have nothing on. I listened to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to nothing. And so it's what I need. And then I would listen to me. I love music.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my new favorite artists, little YouTube was going on October London. They be like, girl, stop playing October London. I'm like, that Marvin Gaye, y'all don't even understand. Okay, it's a thing.
October London, who is that?
Rodney Thomas.
That's the one who got the Marvin Gaye song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he cold.
That whole
That's
album is fire.
Oh, the whole album, man?
Whole album is
You
fire.
gotta get that album.
Yeah,
It's fire. So for me, and then I always go back to the Isley Brothers. That's my thing. Hello.
You don't know about that.
Yeah. Don't play with me. Okay. So for me, the music takes me back to it takes me to a place of peace. Because and sometimes because all that talking, and then I read a lot. I read, and then I try to organize my mind and my thoughts and what my purpose is, and that's my time when I'm allowing God to show me what it is I need to do, that my steps and my movements and my assignment be purposeful.
Come on now,
and that anything that I do not be in vain.
Come on.
And so that's how I live. My kids are older. My kids are 33, 20, 28, and then I have one. He'll be 18. And he wants to go to medical school.
Come on now.
And so he has a 4.1.
Come on, doctor.
And he
throw the point on there. Put some respect on his name.
And it is the thing that, me and his father, we love our child more than we disliked each other. And we are best friends.
I'm glad that
that's a hard one to navigate, and people don't talk about it. That's why I get involved with like my 2 nieces, their mom. It's my great nieces who come to me to counsel because their mom is my niece, and to get involved to say, you know what, I don't do the nonsense in the plan. I don't do the, well, you can't see the kids. No, Aunt Tanya don't play that. Got involved with my other niece, with my sister, and my house had to be the point of exchange. I don't do that. We gotta make sure Black fathers are involved.
Come on now.
And that we gotta quit taking them out of the equation except for a paycheck. And I am not apologetic about that.
My kid's mother did me just like that.
But it's the hurt that stays with Black men longer than anybody else. And when they call, when it's about the money. Should you pay child? Technically, you shouldn't have to pay child, but you have an agreement with the other parent. So that you have shared parenting, so that you understand that when you eat and you need clothes, that that money is funneling, to where you can talk. And they call it a blended family. Now, if you have a parent who's not qualified, then you pay child support.
Right.
But you have to. I believe in counseling. I believe people should go to counseling because when you try to, sometimes you need someone to give you the tools to fix it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can't fix it by yourself, and you need a neutral person.
That's right.
And the kids are supposed to love your children more than you hate your ex.
Yeah. So I want to pick up on that because it's very important to have those stipulated orders. Me and my children's mother have a stipulated order. We we didn't get along. We didn't make it in a relationship. Cool. But we had 2 beautiful blessings that came out of it. Right? Even though to this day it might be still difficult to just be dealing and getting along, right? At the end of the day, we have a due responsibility to those children. I took it upon myself to be able to file a motion, to get in court, to be able to go for my children to have custody during in custody, and every father should do it. I know it seems like it's a shot in the dark, because when I first was going down there without an attorney, man, it was a bunch of nonsense. I was getting run around. They're like, they treat you like, you know what I mean? Like they had no respect for a father. That's crazy. Like, I understand mothers has always been the backbone since life. I love my mom, right? You know what I mean? I grew up like that, right? And it's always gonna be like that for mama. Yeah. But you always gotta respect daddy too. Now you can't just be forgetting about father, because it would be it would be you. There wouldn't be no you without me.
That's right.
So regardless of any, right, we have to start cherishing both roles. You don't just give it just to the mother. You gotta be thinking about the father too, because the father brings a different aspect to that life, right? When you talk about, like, my son is 15, my daughter 13. Me and my daughter got a beautiful relationship. She tell me about all this stuff that she's going through, because I want her to tell.
Right.
I want to put her up on game. Yeah. I try not to shut her down. Me and my son is at an age when, you know, he's growing up. He's starting to change. Yeah, he in the mindset like, man, I got this, right? You know, and he want to be his own man. And I'm like, I understand, because I grew up like that too. So I gotta respect it. At the same time, man, I'm still here to guide and help support you. I want to be, you know, the one you know, the soundboard. You got some questions. I think dealing with these little girls and kind of come up and try to find himself and get his little look together. I'm here for that, because I did all that already, right? And so we at that place right now. He used to always want to hold my hand. Now I can't even get him to come hang out with me.
Because they get to that age.
Yeah.
But it'll change back around.
Come on, wait on it. Junior, I got your back, baby.
No, it'll change when they get older. Because my 28-year-old, you know, that middle child. I mean, it's a different experience. It's him and what? He double up. Yeah. You know,
it wouldn't be the same without him though.
Listen, and all my kids got mouth.
Yeah.
But he got, you know, a lot. But
yeah,
even though me and his father, you know, I had 2 children with him.
Yeah.
And so and our divorce was terrible. It was not good. But I put, you know, I had my kids in counseling and
good.
That we all went, including grandmother.
Good.
And I did it till they were grown.
That was therapy.
I did, absolutely.
I'm getting back in therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with therapy.
Therapy is good for Black people. Yeah. And we all need therapy. And because when my parents got divorced, and that was in the 70s, my stepdad put us in therapy. I didn't understand.
All right.
He did, because I understood that it was something that I needed, and I was just going because it was downtown. When I got older, I went to lunch for free. We would always go to lunch. You know, and so when it came from my kids, you know, I understood. I was able to see that this was something that was wrong. And in our last child, me and his father, we have an absolutely great relationship, and that we co-parent. And he goes back. My son goes back between, you know, whatever house, you know, even when I was in Chicago. He would bring him, you know, to Chicago, and he would stay. I mean, it was we co-parent, and you know,
it take work.
You know, he is a great father. You know, but he's a great father. But we were like, oh, we had him. I had a midlife crisis child. You know, I was like, I had geriatrics, obstetrics. Why are you playing? I was like, so. Oh, Lord Jesus, I cried for 2 weeks. Right. But when we talk about, you know, God has a purpose for everything.
That's right.
I keep his life out of everything, because Flint politics is nasty. It's some nasty people. And it goes, oh, well, she has a custody order, or he was taken. No, what are you talking about? Absolutely not. Yeah. My 3 kids, my daughter, who says she doesn't want kids, she's like, well, I was 15, Mom, when you had him. So he's kind of like my child. My kids are very close to 3 kids. Like every weekend, winter time, they go snowboarding. They go snowboarding and skiing. And so the winter vacation, he's at his sister's house in Detroit. So it's kind of like, because the 28 and the 33 don't have children. So he just reaped the benefits of being a baby. That's right. And he has and he has older sisters in Georgia. You know. So right. So he has that. So we talk about, I guess it's like a blended family. I have it, but I worked hard to get it right. And I'm gonna protect mine. So when certain people try to bring up my kids, we have some problems. I will burn the building down and scorch the earth with you when you bring up my children.
That's right.
Because that and anybody else, you don't do that. Come at me for everything. Come at me and say, hey, she 55. She didn't gain. Yeah, I did. I can lose weight, but you can't gain no common sense. You know, you can't just gain that. And so the thing is, for me, leave children children out of it.
They off limits.
Come at me any way that you can, but you come for the babies, I will scorch the earth.
Come on
with
now.
you.
Come on.
And I mean that.
Come on. And they know that.
Oh, and I mean it.
Them babies know that.
And so that's the thing I think we talk about, and I've always said, Black fathers especially, but all fathers, you don't take them out the equation, because the girl will look for what type of man should she marry. She's going to look for the things that her father.
That ain't right.
A young boy is going to look at and emulate. How do I be a man?
Yeah.
It's going to take a father to show you. He's going to emulate and remember the things. My son has been coming to me, the 28-year-old, and we have very candid conversations. Me and my kids talk about everything.
Yeah.
And it's still funny because he says the other night, Mom, I need to cuss, but I need to tell you this, but it's a bunch of cuss words. You don't mind, do you? You know, it's the respect. So I had to tell him, I said, your dad isn't like a real emotional person. So you have to be the one to say, hey, Dad, I need you to do this. I said, the things you're planning with one of his mentors, I said, I need you to do that with your dad.
Yeah.
I need you to say, Dad, I need you to come do this with me. That I need you to go here with me.
Yeah.
I said, because your dad doesn't know how to do it. Now, I love my children more than I despise my ex.
Come on now.
And that is what it's about.
That's
Your
grown woman
dad,
stuff.
absolutely.
Was
And I,
vice versa.
right. And I told him, I said, you need to do, I said, your dad will, I said, he may not know how to take it at first. I said, but he's going to appreciate. Your dad don't immediately have a reaction to something, but he'll come back to say, hey, I appreciate what you did. I said, your dad loved you. When you were born, I said, he wouldn't let you go. I said, you came out. Only thing he gave me back to you was when I needed to nurse you. That was it. That was his thing. And then he was at the fire station. That was it. That was it. He would give him back so I would nurse, and then he would be when he got home from the fire station at 8:20 in the morning. He got off at 8. He would come in there, he washed his hands, and he took our daughter to work, and he would hold both of them.
That's right.
Because that was, as a woman, I created a home.
That's right.
And that's when you come home. But the marriage didn't work. It just didn't work. I like to work. I'm a workaholic.
Did you have a problem with that working?
Well, he's not good at math now. He might got a girlfriend. So you want a girlfriend.
It'd be like sometimes it'd be dynamics going on, you know what I'm saying?
But it's
And never always take care of the responsibility. You know
but we could not afford to have me stay home as a mom. I stayed home for like a year and a half, 2 years. I thought I went crazy because I'm so used to
staying home.
I'm so used to working.
Yeah.
And when you work and I'm like, I'm home with the kids. It's hard staying home to work. But I'm used to having, and so
I'm used to being active.
I have always been active. Always been active. So when I stayed home, he said, well, go back. He did say, go back to school, Tonya. And I went back to school at that point, and I stayed home. But it just, did he regret it? It's funny because about 8 years ago, he called me and he said, I wasn't ready for a divorce with you. He said, I wanted my family. He said, I wanted my family. I said, well, you're too late.
Speaking from a man perspective, sometimes you don't see the bigger picture of why you in it. So, after you lose it, it's unfortunate like that. When you lose your family, right? You like, man, dang.
But who's to show us? Do we see on TV? I mean, when I grew up, the perfect family was the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
They weren't black. Yeah, they wasn't black. We really didn't have like
the Cosby's. The Cosby was the perfect family.
We got
right on the bill.
Right. And my kids watch the Cosby.
Yeah.
But we didn't have, so who's to tell us what black love is?
Right.
And that's the thing. And I want my kids to see when I have filed for divorce, because I want my kids to see that black love is real. That when you in a house, that you see the parents not just arguing, that we are interacting and it's love and we can joke and we can play and it's, we in the struggle together.
Right.
And I think with him, he missed the fact that I created a home. Work, Tonya, and at home, Tonya, are two different people.
Come on, now.
Work is what I do. It is not who I am.
Yeah.
And that, to me, my holidays and my traditions are what I bred into my children still to this day.
Right.
And so we, when I'm at work, I do my job. Just like when my kids call, if they call me when I get up out my seat, that's either my parents or my kids. I'm going to take those calls. I don't get redos for them. If they calling me, they important.
Come on now.
They are important to
I
me.
respect that. I appreciate that because, you know, a lot of times, you know, people don't know the personal lives that people live. They might just see the work, but they don't see like the real love and the genuineness that you have towards, you know, your offspring or just you in general, just family, right? You know what I'm saying? People are real people out here.
And they don't see that.
They don't know nothing about that. They just see you. So always remember when you're looking at folks, man, you don't know what they coming through. They don't know. I didn't know you had, you know, divorce that, you know, you don't know a person's story. You don't know their background, right? So always respect, to always respect to a person, man, what they come through, what they overcame, right? That makes them who they are. And sometimes you just need to dig a little deeper, man, to get understanding for folks. So I respect that. That's why I said, like, I appreciate good fathers. I had some really good uncles in my life, right? That helped raise me and helped me be the man I am today. So I appreciate that. I seen them, you know, raise their children. So I try to implement.
Were you raised with your father?
So my father left early in the game, right? My father was a ball player. He was, you know, he had my big oldest brother when he was like 17. So he was kind of like on, you know, doing his thing. And when I was growing up, I needed him.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a father, and I needed that. I needed that development. And that probably what made me have animosity towards, you know, him because I didn't get that. And so, you know, we had conversation probably like 4 or 5 years ago. We had a real conversation. He just said, man, I was in the mix. I was on the fly. So it was like, you know, it didn't like I wasn't just trying to ban him. I just wasn't thinking about it like that. I was, you know, involved in the games and drugs and stuff. So, you know, I just wasn't focused.
Right.
And so that gave a lot of clarity on, you know, things, right? You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's his blood that run through my veins. So, you know what I'm saying? I understand that. And so we good and we got some type of understanding now. So
but every developmental step is important.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned when I was teaching. That if we miss a step, we have to go back to do that step. So if a child, it's a reason why we crawl, because we have to learn how to walk.
That's right.
You know, and so it's a reason why we have the baby talk a gibberish, because we're preparing ourselves to have a voice and to be able to speak with authority. So every step is important. Every step, and that's something that we have to realize and to support each other. You know, I think when you give so much of yourself, and I don't know what, and I give of myself, because when I leave this earth, I want to make sure that you know, God say, servant, job well done. That's what I'm looking for.
I know that's right.
I agree with you. I'm on that same type of time, and you know that's why. You know, at the end of the day, that's who's gonna judge us.
That's what matters the most.
We can be out here all day doing what we're doing. At the end of the day, it's the Most High that's gonna judge us for all the activities that we did, whatever crown we earned. So, my mama had instilled that into me at an early age, and so a lot of my grandma. Big shout out to my grandma.
But we don't have grandmas like that no more.
Big
mamas is gone.
My mama dropped me off in Mississippi like when I was 1. And she told me she was supposed to come back. She didn't come back like 2 years later. So.
That's how I
You just did, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? So I spent a lot of time with Granny.
That's that village.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that's true. And I love her to death because she was always, you know, she prayed over me on everything. And she was just always there. Always been somebody that's just been a benefit, you know what I'm saying? She still moving around here. She's 91, so
what a blessing.
I appreciate it. She's just having surgery too, you know, next year. So she had failed about 5 years ago. And you know, when they fall at that age, it takes a minute to bounce back. So she trying to come back. So we praying for you, Granny. We're gonna be down there very soon. So but now I appreciate that, village. You know, you're absolutely right. I appreciate this conversation.
And I think it's giving me some insight into you too, because people want to dehumanize us before they humanize.
For sure.
And I think when we really understand where each other come from, because I'm no different than anybody else. We talk about my grandma. My grandmother. I spent time. I was the first grandchild to be born, and so
they spoiled you.
They did, and I never. My village was so strong. My mom worked, and my dad and my mother was not married. So we talk about who raises. All I knew was that I was loved. My daddy, mama. Listen, down there on the corner, everybody know that the gray and white house. So it was Detroit Street and Stewart.
Come on,
right there on the corner.
Yeah, that was his own right
That was
really? That's your parents?
Yeah, that's my grandparents, my grandmom said. My uncles, my grandma had 14 kids there. Willa Mae Harrison.
Come on now.
14 kids.
Come on now.
They did not let me date to this day.
No,
They
you
did,
walk
they
up
did
to
right.
you like, one of your uncles stay with him? Like
See,
a car ran up in the house not too long ago this summer.
I ain't been on in a minute. I think
Okay.
Skeet. Skeet still live there in the house, but that's
He walk a lot.
and that may be Turk. I think I have to check it. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
But we talk about the village. My grandma, like I tell people try to say, like I tell you, we didn't come here on the Royal Caribbean ship,
You see.
on the cruise ship.
Right.
We came over here as slaves, a whole slave ship. So as Black people, we are no better than anybody else. My daddy and them grew up in St. John's area before they moved over there. And so that's where they live. And so when you know where you're going, it makes a big difference. I learned how to do the numbers. I had a number, man. I was 6 years old in the number. That was the thing. The number man would come around to your house,
That's right.
and he had a new car. He was dressed like our insurance man. The insurance man came, and the insurance man used to come to your house to pick up your payment. And the number man would come to pick up your number. And that was right. But the number man used to be shy.
Oh, yeah.
He always had a Medusa in the quarter. Or he had a Cadillac. And he was dressed. He had shoes on. And it was about the biz, But it was funny, and I understand this right now. When my uncles were like, "Well, Tanya, what you dream about?" They was playing my dreams in the number book.
Yep.
Tearing them numbers up.
Dream.
And so, do you remember what you dreamed about? And they would play them.
I do recall that. Yeah, I did.
But
They gonna look it up in the red.
Absolutely.
You have a whole
Three
book of
wise
different
men.
numbers there.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
red devil.
Red
Wise
devil,
men.
Yeah.
Three wise.
3 wise men. And so when they see something, because like I said, I had a number man, and I would hit the number. You can turn that nickel and quarter into money.
You can play a penny back.
You sure
Man, we need to bring the number game back.
It's kind of a lingo, but
Hey,
The number game.
no, still.
listen,
I used to see that though, man. But Black people, they created that. They created that.
we had to.
I like that stuff. I respect it. I appreciate them bringing.
But when
something.
we deny it, like, oh, we too good for it, I'm like, stop that. Just like oxtail. Oxtails, and chicken wings, it was poor.
Yeah.
Now you got Rachel Ray braising oxtails with the orange glaze.
Look, they said the chicken's running about $60.
Look, they steal the chicken.
Yeah,
They steal the chicken. They got the little buzzers on it. I don't need chitlins.
I don't
in
need
it.
that stuff, man.
You
That's
have
little.
security
Not
devices on the chitlins.
I can do that.
But everything where
I just cleanse you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, them boys. Yeah, I can.
Once a year.
Smell it.
to be in the house with them stinking chitlins.
That's what I'm
When
saying.
you raised up like that,
I used to, and my mama still cooked chitlins. But we look at what they took, what was scraps, chitlins, chicken wings, turkey necks, oxtails, all of those things.
The whole tail.
Right. Them oxtails. Rachel Ray was on her little show, raising oxtails.
$1.50 action.
Right.
You get the whole tail for $1.50, man.
Right. And so when we look at the Black culture, people are Black. Well, stop acting like you have arrived. Stop acting like you too good for certain things. Like you don't eat pinto beans anymore. Look, it was a good corn. Some smoke. Oh, now. I mean, people got to stop that and stop saying, your culture. And what I tell people with running my business, I work with predominantly white women. First African American woman to have an ADT dealership in the U.S. And I ran it for over 20-something years, 25 years. And so when we talk about what our culture is, nobody white ever asked me to change my culture. They never say, no, we try to acclimate ourselves to their culture, but they never asked. There was a respect. They would call me straight shooter. They would call me, they would call me straight, and they were mostly Republican white men. And we were at a convention in Cabo San Lucas, and the president of ADT, and he was one of this guy who was just an a-hole, was talking. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you got your Black president. You're going to get Obama," and he was talking crap. Okay. And two twins who were white from Seattle said, no, you're not going to talk to Tonya like that. You're not going to do it. They was in his face about the fight, you know, but it's the respect. The respect. I never sold my culture out. So the president, Joe, at the time, Joe said, he was like, well, Joe, you going to say something? He said, no, Tonya can handle herself. I read him for the filth he was by the time I was done with him.
Come on.
For the filth he was. Because you're not going to disrespect, first of all, respect the man and respect the office. And you don't disrespect him when you call a black man a boy. Because I didn't like the Bushes, but we dealt with playing in the bushes for two different terms. Yeah. And so when we talk about that, Black people have to start. Don't be afraid to say who you are. I didn't have the president ADT at my house. I drink Folgers coffee. He was drinking Folgers at my, and then he went and washed out his own cup.
Get the pictures right here.
Like, Tonya, are you in Michigan or are you in Illinois? I said, well, I'm in Illinois. So he came over. I said, well, I don't have time to run to the city and to the office. That was like a 45-minute commute. He said, look, I'll come to you. And so he came to me. We sat down, did our meeting, did our talk, washed out his own cup. So
what do you do besides council?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
We got to break.
I don't have enough time for council right now.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, I really don't have anything but time for council. I still do consulting, design fire systems, alarm systems, security. I've done that, and I used to teach too. I've worked my whole life. I'm 55. So I already got 2 pensions in the bucket for those who try to say yes, and then raised my children. Okay.
Right.
So, and others, and who have been, you know, it's a village. You know, it is a village for me. And with my nieces, my nephews, and the ones who call me auntie, because they know I'm down. It's my one little nephew. He can act crazy, but everybody else, and Tonya don't play. Now he like 6'2", because he think I'm crazy. I got my crazy. He like, I ain't nothing with Tonya.
She do it talk about
That's right.
You know who to mess with.
That's right. That's right. That's what starts when we young. Right.
I'm gonna do my nephew.
You gotta get your little,
man. I'm trying to tell you, they get to growing up, they're like, hold up. Hey, no, we're gonna have to definitely bring you back for highlights, and we're gonna continue this conversation.
But tomorrow, breakfast, 10 o'clock, Golden Gate, Flushing Road.
Yeah. 10 o'clock tomorrow. If you can come out, man, we are definitely meeting at 10 a.m. at the Golden Gate. Come on out, just have breakfast with the community. Right.
And then we are looking for members to join Black Lives Matter. My name is in the chat. And share this, y'all. Click like and share this.
That's how we get
like
there.
And share this.
Thank you.
Because we got to get the word out.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you have committed to getting in the room.
I'm committed to getting in the room.
We got to get some people.
With all my habits, it don't even matter. I'm committed to getting to the room. I'm committed to have real conversation and then work through, put every ego, personality to the side, whatever we need to do to make sense. I'm with all that.
Because we got elections, and we done shown that the people who are in those seats are making decisions that affect us and not in a positive way. We ain't getting nothing.
I know.
We get nothing.
That's a problem. So and then too, man, let's get all our young people. We want to start getting them folks engaged. Just make sure that we get y'all in. Be sure everybody that's on like the channels. Y'all like the channel. Y'all like the conversation.
Yeah,
like it right now and share it, right? Because it was some pertinent conversation. Appreciate everybody.
I shared it. I clicked on probably 12, 14 shares and different. Yeah.
So a lot of people, man, tapping in and conversating, but let's make sure that we do something about our city. So it's up to us, right? Always remember, we are because they were, right? When you talk about our ancestors, they expecting us to do the work. So let's do it now. Otherwise, man, we're gonna watch this.
And this isn't just for you have Black people. It's Black Lives Matter, but the white people is in this movement. Just we talk about the civil rights. We need Black and white This is everybody. It's not just Black people. Flint is not just Black. And we have a huge population that I think is switching in. I'm looking at how they get them apartments in. I think we turned into a sanctuary city. Watch, y'all better watch it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's right. So I want to thank you for having me here. This was real. This was real.
I enjoyed the conversation, and that was a good vibe. I learned a lot, right? And then I'm eager to get to more, right? So we're gonna keep working together.
You will be surprised. You and Arthur Woodson have more in common than you have in disagreement. But I believe that there.
You keep bringing them.
Because I like to see that. You know,
I don't like to see that either, but I don't like. I don't like nobody playing with me either.
we gonna leave on the table tomorrow to the club, Golden Gate,
Yeah, to go to gate 10 a.m. We gonna.
and they got good grits.
We got good grits. Make sure you tap in. You know, like the channel. Everybody like the show. Make sure you tap in with Councilwoman Tonya. Her information is in the chat, right? You want to join Black Lives Matter? We need you, right? We welcome you. If you say we got to write these letters, we got to be protesting for the Mitchell boys. We got to protest for police brutality with the young man that was coming from Hurley. We need you all on that, right? So make sure let's all lock in. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And continue to stay active. Fli-City Blackout. We're gonna tap this one in for the night. We're gonna bring Councilwoman Tonya back in, and we're gonna keep an eye on council, and we're gonna keep making things shake. So you got a lot of love here on the chat too.
I appreciate the love, because this is this is supposed to be part time, and right now this takes all my time.
I bet.
And I give you the check. It does, because it does. But I want to say thank you, Dewan. I feel I had some people question it. I'm like, don't question me. God, give me an assignment. I'm gonna follow it through.
Come on now.
Follow it through. This was good.
It never.
Rodney Thomas. It's always good to see you. And when I look out here, that's right. He hold it down. He be on that right hand side.
We ain't got no representation down there, brother. Be down there,
and he's every meeting.
So we definitely got representation.
When
He
I
one
come
called
late,
me
I want to
yesterday
be
about
public
this.
speaking. When I come late, I'll be coming from Burston.
And they
work down.
Right.
They said that you need to make sure you let that be known a lot of times.
What?
Too, folks like they didn't know you was down
They'll
there.
put your name in the
You
box.
gotta put that. You gotta let them know you down there representing.
Oh, okay.
So they know. They said like, yeah, I be seeing him. But I didn't know what
He's there every
I'm
meeting,
like, yeah, he down
Okay.
there.
Okay.
and that's what needs to be known.
Put it out there.
And so,
Okay.
and if you
Okay.
need your name in the box,
The speakers.
we'll make
Okay.
I know you be saying about the speaking, but you know what I'm saying. They let them know.
Okay.
Know what time
Well,
it is.
did you simply prepare a little script beforehand, bullet points? Boom.
Okay. Okay.
We'll help you with
It's
that.
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
So Black Lives Matter is taking the people, whether you Black, white, Latino,
Oh, yeah.
contact Black Lives
Oh,
Matter.
yeah.
You're off of your hiatus.
Come
You're
on
off
now.
of your hiatus. Now let's get the work done. We got some
See,
protests. And I'm gonna tell you, them winter protests be hard. But not even some of the water ones.
It's needed though, right?
It's needed, though.
Hail, sleet, or snow. We gotta definitely be out there.
Gotta be out there.
That's what it called, folks. So
This was good.
I'm motivated. I'm inspired, and I will be definitely at the table. So
All right.
and thank everybody for tuning in to Fli-City Blackout. Thank you, Councilwoman Burns,
Thank
for coming in, enlightening groups. We want to continue to stay activated, keep that energy going. We'll be meeting at 10 o'clock at the Golden Gate. Let's go in, really kind of make some noise. Let's bring strategies, let's bring solutions to the table, and let's make Flint the robust community that we all believe in.
That's right.
We tapping out, we stay tapping in. We do the find out.
We do one quality. He crying at the moment.
Right, we do the find out. Definitely go appreciate everybody. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Happy holidays.
Happy Kwanzaa.